friends. I'm here to read another story to you from the book, The Complete Fairy Tales and Stories of Hans Christian Andersen. Today's story is called The Candles. And a word we might not know, I wanted to share with you the meaning of the word tallow. They talk about tallow, and tallow is a kind of a fat, and back in the old days, they used to use that to make candles. Okay, the candles. There was once a big wax candle who had the highest opinion of his merits. I, he said, am made of the purest wax, cast in the best mold. I burn more brilliantly than any other candle, and I outlast them all. I belong in the high chandelier or a silver candlestick. What a delightful life you must lead, the tallow candle admitted. I'm only tallow, just a tallow dip. But it's a comfort to think how much better off I am than the fancy taper. He's only dipped twice. So when you make a candle, you take the inside part they call the wick and they dip it into liquid. And you keep dipping it and the candle gets fatter and fatter. So he's only dipped twice, while I'm dipped 8 times to make a thick and respectable candle of me. I'm satisfied. To be sure, it would be better to be born of wax than of tallow, and a lucky thing to be shaped in a mold, but one isn't asked how he wants to be born. Your place in the big rooms is in the big rooms with the glass chandeliers, and mine is in the kitchen. But the kitchen is a good place too. All the food in the house comes from the kitchen. There are more important things in the world than food, the wax candle boasted. There is the glitter of good society and from which I shine. Why, I and all my family are invited to a ball that's being given here this very evening. No sooner had he said this than the wax candles were sent for, but the tallow candle was not left behind. The mistress of the house took it in her own hand and carried it into the kitchen, where a poor boy waited with a basket full of potatoes and a few apples she had given him. And here's a candle for you too, my little friend, she told him. Your mother can use it to work by when she sits up late at night. The lady's small daughter stood close beside her mother, and when she heard the magic words, late at night, she forgot to be shy. I'm going to stay up late tonight too, she exclaimed. We are to have a ball this evening, and I'm to wear my big red ribbon. No candle could ever shine like the eyes of a child. Happiness is a blessed thing to see, the tallow candle thought to himself. I mustn't forget how it looks, for I certainly shan't see it again. They put him in a basket and closed the lid, and away the boy went with it. Where can he be taking me, the candle wondered. I may have to live with poor people, and I don't own a brass candlestick, while the wax candle sits in silver and beams at all the best people. How fine it must be to shine in good company. But this is what I get for being tallow and not wax. All the candle did come to live with poor people. There was a widow and her 3 children who had a low-ceilinged room across the way from the well-to-do house. God bless our neighbor for all that she gave us, the widow said. This good candle will burn far into the night. She struck a match to it. Fie, he sputtered, with a vile-smelling match she lit me with. Would anyone offer such a kitchen match to the candle wax in the well-to-do house across the street? There the candles were lighted too. They made the street bright as carriages came rumbling with guests dressed in their best for the ball, and the music struck up. Now the ball is beginning. The tallow candle burned brighter as he remembered the happy little girl whose face was more shining than the light of all those wax candles. I'll never see anything like that again. The smallest of the poor children reached up, for she was very small, and put her arms around the necks of her brother and sister. What she had to tell them was so important, it had to be whispered. Tonight, we're going to have, just think of it, warm potatoes this very night. Her face beamed with happiness, and the candle beamed right back at her. He saw happiness again, and a gladness as great as when the little girl in the well-to-do house said, We are having a ball this evening, and I am to wear my red ribbon. It is such a great treat to get warm potatoes, the candle wondered. I guess so. Little children must manage to be happy here too. He wept tallow tears of joy, and more than that a candle cannot do. The table was spread and the potatoes were eaten. How good they tasted! The feast was real, and there was an apple for everyone, and the smallest child said grace. Now thank you, dear Lord, I give to thee, that thou hast filled me. Amen. And didn't I say it nicely? The little girl asked. Don't say such things, her mother told her. Just thank the good Lord for filling you up. The children went to bed and were kissed good night and fell asleep. Their mother sat up late and sewed to make a living for them and for herself. From the well-to-do house came light and music, but the stars overhead shone on all the houses of the rich and poor with the same light, clear and kind. This has been a wonderful evening, the tallow candle told himself. Can the wax candle have had any better of a time in his silver candlestick? I'd like to know that before I'm burned out. He remembered the two happy children, one face lighted up by the wax candle, the other shining in the tallow's candlelight. One was as happy as the other. Yes, that is the whole story. The end. Bye, friends.